VHS 85 has just premiered its first teaser trailer. I've got a bunch of screen grabs here from the trailer, and we're going to attach them to each individual segment that's going to be in VHS 85, and we're going to see if we can sort of break down these stories and get a better detail of what's going to be happening in them. So let's waste no time. Let's get right into it, starting with the most obvious one, which is the overarching story here, where Freddy Rodriguez is going to be playing Detective Wayne Johnson, who's going to be investigating, a variety of gruesome murders while on the trail of an elusive serial killer. So this one's more obvious. Obviously, it doesn't take as much detective work as the characters in the film, because we see them interviewing a witness or a suspect or just someone who has information about what's going on with the VHS tapes that the detectives are going to be, watching and encountering throughout the film. And an interesting thing that we get out of this is the character, the suspect or the victim, whoever, tells them, just watch the tapes if you want to get more information. And we see in this shot here of someone pressing play on a tape, there's a VHS tape above that, above the player, and we see that it's titled Wrath of Khan, but there's 3 A's instead of 2. We know that Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, released in 1982, so, just a very curious detail. I wonder if maybe the VHS segments here are going to be named after and we know that those aren't the actual names, but I'm wondering, in story, are they going to be named after some popular films of the late 70s and maybe early 80s? That's just a cool little detail that I noticed, and we'll see if that plays out in the actual film. But we also see one of the detectives walking up to a very gruesome crime scene here, where someone's just completely got brutally murdered on their bed. And we also see another interesting shot that follows that is, these people who are appearing in a fight of some sort in a hallway. And the reason I know this is attached to the same storyline is because we see that, there's a cop on the floor. Obviously, this has to be appearing in going down in a police station. And the shot that follows of someone just like sprinting down a hall has to be part of the same, overarching story, because the green hues here in the cinematography, it matches with other screenshots that we've already covered for this segment. So yeah, that appears to be the overarching segment of VHS 85. So just some nice screenshots from that story. Next, there's some very simple ones to decipher. Like, of course, we see the kids here who we know that there's a story that involves kids skiing on a lake. And of course, we see these characters here who are, again, they're going water skiing. So that's very easy to decipher. We didn't really get anything else out of this segment, at least in this trailer, but we know that that's the segment where, of course, there's kids on a lake. Next is another very obvious one, is we know that there's something where, there's a story that involves VR, the early days of VR, where it awakens something terrifying. And of course, we can see a man here testing out VR technology. And in the shot that precedes that, or that comes right after that, I should say, we get to see, this is probably him interacting with his environment, his, I guess the I don't know what you even call VR, but that environment. And then we see that this, weird robotic, creature-looking thing here has to be a part of the very same storyline, where, this is probably going to be the thing that starts coming after him, and maybe the people who start trying on the VR headset, maybe it's going to be trying to escape that world of VR and come into the real world. So who knows if that's what that segment's about, but, we know that these screenshots are from that segment that involves VR. Next here, this has to be Scott Derrickson's Dream Kill segment, where we know that, brutal murders are being captured, appearing during dreams or something of the sort. I'm not entirely sure, but just from the the fact that someone, this sort of voyeuristic sort of shot where it's like we're not supposed to be watching this sort of thing, but it's happening anyway. It looks like someone's wearing gloves here and getting ready to commit a murder. And the shot that precedes it right here, this shot where we see that someone's sleeping or laying lifelessly in a bed, who knows, but it looks like they're about to become a victim of this person. And the shot that precedes that here, again, with this woman who's on the phone, just the way that these images look, just the way they come across. This reminds me, this is like a dead giveaway to Scott Derrickson's work in the first Sinister movie, where we saw those old tapes where Ethan Hawke's character was discovering them, and it was like footage that we were not supposed to be seeing, that we had no business seeing, and it made you feel wrong for even watching these family homes, videotapes. So this has to be, the Scott Derrickson segment of Dream Kill. Moving on from that, though, there's some, we start to get into some other shots where I'm not so sure what's going on, because we have This shot here of like a scientist who appears to be right next to a lamp, and maybe they're inside of a home. This could be the segment where we know that there's like a scientist who are researching a boy who appears to be like just like addicted to his TV for some reason. So maybe this could be a part of that. Not too much to get out of that. We see a shot here of this woman who's like firing an assault rifle or an Armalite. I'm not sure, but she's firing a weapon of some sort, a firearm of some sort, and this has to be a part of the Mike P. Nelson, body horror story that also dives into right-wing gun nut extremism. I just imagine that's what's going on here because you see someone firing a weapon. And the shot that we see here next is, I wonder if that's a part of the same segment, just because maybe the walls and the red lighting in the background sort of maybe makes me think that it could be a part of that. Who knows? But that dude looks like he's in a world of hurt. Moving on from that, though, we have this shot here of these people wearing these safety hats, and something's going on here. We see these electrical circuits going off, and they appear to be in some type of building or underground maybe. I don't know where this comes in from. This could be a part of Gigi Salguero's segment, which we know covers a TV crew or a documentary crew. I'm not a documentary crew, but a TV crew, in their efforts to, cover this natural disaster that's occurring, which is this shot right here, where we see that this whole city looks like, just terrible things are happening. So I don't know if it's attached to her segment at all, but I did want to just mention it here because, it's a very curious shot. Next thing that we have here is obviously this has to be a part of the made-for-TV documentary segment that we got going on here. That it's being, that's apparently, we're getting all these segments presented through this made-to-TV documentary style footage, I guess. So this has to be from that. But other than that, it's really hard to decipher some of these individual screenshots. There's the obvious ones, like I said, like the Scott Derrickson one, the Gigi Salguero recovery crew with the natural disaster, the VR story, the kids skiing at the lake, the overarching story of the detective. Those are easy, but the rest of the screenshots here, they're just too random, and it's hard to sort of place where exactly they fit into these segments. But I did want to bring you guys this video. Again, we have to wait till we get a full trailer till we can do like a real in-depth video and sort of look further into these segments. But just for now, I wanted to bring you guys this video. But you've heard enough from me already. I want to know what you're thinking down in the comment section below. Please let me know what your opinions are, what you think of these screen grabs, these segments, this first trailer. Are you more excited now for VHS 85? Let me know what you're thinking down in the comment section below. But as always, if you want to stay up to date on all the latest in the world of movie news, TV news, and video game news, you're already in the right place, and I hope you consider sticking around. Until next time, this has been Millennial Media. I will see you all very soon.